Welcome to our new segment, the M2M Weekly NBA Recap. Gabe, what did you watch in the NBA this week? You got 1 minute on the clock, starting now.
Well, I saw that the Rockets can win without James Harden as they went on a 4-game winning streak and they just beat the Trailblazers, who many teams saw as like a top 3, top 4 team in the West. Now, moving on to the Trailblazers, I saw them struggling without CJ McCollum and without Yusuf Nurkic. Rightfully so. Those are 2 of the 3 best players on the squad. However, I did see that Gary Trent Jr. is someone that could take CJ's starting spot, and CJ could be traded for a big-time player. Not that CJ would ever go off the bench, but that he would be traded out of not being needed on the team anymore. That's a hot take, I know. Moving on to an Eastern Conference team, the New York Knicks, I unfortunately saw that I think that they were pretenders all along and they're not going to make the playoffs. They lost 3 straight games to some pretty easy teams, and they just don't seem motivated anymore. Now, Tom Thibodeau could change all of that, but right now that's how it looks. Moving on to the Pelicans, they just blew out the Wizards. I know the Wizards are one of the worst teams in the league, but it just looks like the Wizards are probably going to blow it up after that. And that is all for me. Edward, your minute starts now.
This week was pretty interesting. Not that many games I have seen was interesting at all. Just seeing the highlights, but I'm very questionable of Lakers the past 2 games. The Piston one is obvious, like without AD, like it looks really like LeBron vested offense. But the 76ers, I wasn't mad that we lost against the 76ers. It's just how we lost against the 76ers. It's just the defense assignment that I saw from the Lakers was disappointing. I just hope that they go back to their gears. And then in the East, I was pretty surprised for the Cavs beating twice against the Nets. That was last week. But it was pretty interesting how, after that, they kind of lost their mojo, I guess. Like, they blown out by the Celtics and the other games. So that was it for me. Siraj, finally, your minute will start now.
Yeah, Edward. So this week in the NBA, I watched the Jazz continue their crazy win streak. Donovan Mitchell is playing out of his mind. And also, he has the chemistry with his team. He has Bogdan Bogdanovic back, and Rudy Gobert is playing good defense. I also saw Bradley Beal continuing to drop big numbers, leading the NBA in scoring. Get that man out of Washington. He scored 47 versus the Pels, 33 versus the Rockets, 31 against the Spurs. I feel bad for Bradley Beal, and I was a Pelicans fan that watched the Pelicans beat the Wizards. Otherwise, 76ers are looking like one of the best teams in the NBA. They are at the top of my power rankings. I think Joel Embiid is the MVP candidate right now to beat. And lastly, I think that the Hawks are a team to watch in the East because they just contested with the Brooklyn Nets, first win for the Big Three in Brooklyn. And that wraps up our weekly NBA recap. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, the M2M Network, for more sports and entertainment content.